The oil rig stands sentinel, a towering figure against the horizon, its silhouette etched in the golden hues of the setting sun. A steel island amidst a restless sea, it braves the elements, a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. It hums with activity, a symphony of machinery and human effort, extracting the lifeblood of modern civilization. Black gold, oil. This energy source fuels our world, from the cars we drive to the products we consume. It powers factories, lights up homes, and keeps the wheels of industry turning. Our cities, vibrant hubs of human endeavor, depend on it. The bustling streets, the towering buildings, all owe their existence to this precious resource. Skyscrapers pierce the sky, illuminated by the power of fossil fuels. The night comes alive with lights, a testament to the energy that flows unseen. Highways teem with vehicles, their engines roaring with the promise of progress. The hum of traffic, a constant reminder of our dependence on oil. But what if this flow of energy ceased? What if the lifeblood of our civilization was suddenly cut off? What if the well ran dry? The ground, once rich with oil, now barren and cracked. Imagine a world where the highways fall silent, the vehicles abandoned. The once busy roads now eerily quiet. Airplanes grounded sit idle on the tarmac, their wings clipped. The skies, once filled with the roar of engines, now silent. The lifeblood of our planet, the oil that keeps our modern world running, has vanished. The oil fields, once bustling with activity, now deserted. This is the scenario we must confront. A world without oil, a world where our way of life is fundamentally altered, not as a distant possibility, but as a looming reality. The clock is ticking, and the pages of the calendar flip by relentlessly. The question is not if, but when. When will we face this inevitable challenge? The graphs and charts tell a story of dwindling resources. What if the world's oil ran out tomorrow? The empty fuel gauges, the concerned faces, all point to a future we must prepare for. Chaos. It would begin subtly at first. A news report flashing across television screens. Gas stations running dry, the pumps suddenly useless. Then the realization would dawn. Panic would grip the hearts of millions as the magnitude of the crisis unfolds. Transportation systems, the arteries of our interconnected world, would grind to a halt. Trucks laden with essential goods would stand frozen on highways, their journeys incomplete. Supermarket shelves, once overflowing, would begin to empty, the intricate supply chains shattered. The world, so accustomed to the constant movement of people and goods, would find itself paralyzed. The hum of engines, once a constant soundtrack to our lives, would be replaced by an eerie silence. The economic repercussions would be swift and devastating, sending shockwaves through every sector of society. Oil prices, already volatile, would skyrocket, triggering a global financial crisis. The cost of fuel would become prohibitive, affecting transportation and logistics worldwide. Stock markets would crash, their digital boards flashing red as investors panic. The loss of confidence would lead to a massive sell-off, wiping out trillions in market value. Currencies would plummet in value, erasing savings and decimating economies. People would rush to withdraw their money, causing bank runs and financial institutions to collapse. Industries that rely on oil, from manufacturing to agriculture, would face collapse. The production of goods would grind to a halt, leading to shortages and skyrocketing prices for essential items. Factories, their production lines stilled, would fall silent. The once bustling hubs of activity would become eerie monuments to a bygone era of industrial prosperity. Farms, unable to power their machinery or transport their produce, would lie fallow. The agricultural sector would be hit hard, leading to food shortages and increased hunger. The intricate web of global trade, built on the foundation of cheap and abundant oil, would unravel. Ports would stand deserted, and shipping containers would remain empty, disrupting supply chains. Unemployment would soar, pushing millions into poverty. The social fabric would be strained as more people find themselves without work or a means to support their families. Governments, struggling to cope with the cascading crises, would find themselves overwhelmed. Public services would be stretched thin, and civil unrest would become a common sight. The delicate balance of the global economy, so reliant on the steady flow of oil, would be shattered. Empty shelves in supermarkets would become a stark reminder of the fragility of our interconnected world. Daily life, as we know it, would be transformed. The conveniences we take for granted, from electricity to plastics, would become scarce. Our homes, once heated by oil-powered furnaces, would grow cold. Our reliance on private vehicles would evaporate, forcing us to find alternative modes of transportation. Food security would be threatened. The mass production and distribution of food depend heavily on oil. Farming practices, reliant on fertilizers and pesticides derived from fossil fuels, would be disrupted. Supermarkets, their shelves bare, would become relics of a bygone era. The world would be forced to confront the reality of its dependence on oil. Our energy-intensive lifestyles, once a symbol of progress, would become unsustainable. Section 5. Nature's sigh of relief. Amidst the chaos and disruption, a glimmer of hope would emerge. As human activity slowed, nature began to show signs of recovery. The once polluted air started to clear, and the skies turned a brilliant blue. The environmental impact of our oil addiction would begin to recede. Forests, once marred by deforestation and pollution, started to thrive again, with trees growing denser and healthier. The skies, once choked with smog, would clear, revealing the brilliance of the stars. City skylines, previously obscured by pollution, now stood out against a backdrop of clear blue. The air, heavy with pollutants, would become cleaner, offering a respite from respiratory illnesses. People could once again enjoy outdoor activities without the fear of inhaling harmful substances. The oceans, burdened by oil spills and pollution, would begin to heal. Pristine beaches with clear blue waters became a common sight, and the marine ecosystem started to recover. Marine life, once threatened by habitat destruction and climate change, would experience a resurgence. Coral reefs, teeming with vibrant fish, showcased the ocean's renewed vitality. The Earth, no longer subjected to the relentless extraction and burning of fossil fuels, would begin to recover. Green fields and forests flourished in the absence of industrial activity. The planet, given a chance to breathe, would reveal its resilience. Aerial views showed lush, green landscapes where nature had taken back control. Nature, in its infinite capacity for renewal, would begin to reclaim its dominion. Old industrial areas, once symbols of human progress, were now being overtaken by the relentless march of greenery. Section 6. The dawn of a new energy era. The end of oil would necessitate a global energy revolution. We would be forced to accelerate the transition to renewable energy sources: solar, wind, hydro, geothermal. Necessity, the mother of invention, would drive innovation. Scientists and engineers would work tirelessly to develop new technologies, harnessing the power of nature to meet our energy needs. Governments would invest heavily in renewable energy infrastructure, recognizing the urgency of the situation. The transition would be challenging, requiring massive investments and international cooperation. But it would also present an opportunity to create a more sustainable and equitable energy future. Section 7. Adapting to survive. Humanity has faced crises before. We have adapted, innovated, and emerged stronger. The end of oil would be no different. We would be forced to reevaluate our priorities, to embrace simpler, more sustainable ways of life. Communities would come together, sharing resources and supporting each other. We would rediscover the importance of local production and consumption, reducing our reliance on global supply chains. We would learn to live within our means, recognizing the finite nature of our planet's resources. The end of oil would be a catalyst for human ingenuity and resilience. Section 8. A catalyst for change. The end of oil would force us to confront the consequences of our actions. We would be forced to acknowledge the true cost of our consumption, the environmental degradation, and social injustices embedded in our current system. This realization could spark a global movement for change, a movement demanding greater environmental responsibility and social equity. A movement that prioritizes the well-being of the planet and all its inhabitants. The end of oil could be the catalyst for a more just and sustainable future. Section 9. A future beyond oil. The future without oil is uncertain, fraught with challenges, but it is not without hope. It is a future where we are no longer beholden to a finite and polluting resource. A future where we live in harmony with nature, powered by the sun, wind, and water. It is a future that demands courage, innovation, and cooperation. It is a future that we must create together. The question is not whether we can survive without oil, but what kind of world we will choose to create in its absence. What will our legacy be?